What's going on, everybody, and welcome to another episode of TNC Reacts. Today is Monday Motivation, and we're going to be talking about progression and protection. Now, I know it's been a minute. I have been sick, so I am just now getting good enough to where I can actually make videos. But the idea of progression and protection, the new PMP, is strictly based off of this. Progression is defined as the process of developing or moving gradually towards a more advanced state. Now, you can apply this to anything that goes on in your life, whatever goal you have, whatever knowledge that you're trying to acquire, whatever thing that can benefit you in your life. Where when you do the definition of protection, it's the action of protecting or the state of being protected. And in this case, we're going to be talking about yourself, right? Because a lot of times what we miss or we come to understand but we ignore it at times is that when you progress or you start to progress in life, you have to start realizing who's in your circle, who's around you, and what their actual intentions are when it comes to you. That's why the protection part becomes important, because you have friends in your circle that when you're trying to do something, they become negative Nancy's. They will talk down on the ideas that you have. You either have yes men or negative Nancy's. You want to look for somebody that's middle ground. You want somebody that's gonna, hey man, yo, that's dope. I really like that. Or you want to have the people that, and that same person at the same time be like, I don't know if that'll work as far as this goes. Or they ask, like, what are you trying to obtain when you're making this? Because you want people that are fair. You don't want somebody that's just saying negative stuff just because they're hating because they didn't come up with the idea. You want people to try to give you the best opinion that they can by trying to understand what you're trying to do. Now, is that going to be a constant? No, probably not, because sometimes they may just like it off the rip. Like, yo, I like that. Yo, that's it, And it happens, sometimes it just works and it's a perfect format, perfect flow, and it just works. But that may be something they like, and it may not be what the masses like. So you kind of got to figure out what works best if you're trying to get a circle that's going to help you with your progression. Now, the other thing with progression is that as you start to elevate, some people are just incapable of it. You may give them the tools to try to do it, but they may be comfortable in their skin, and there's nothing wrong with that. As long as they're not impeding your progression, then you don't have to worry about protecting yourself from said individual. You don't have to worry about protection if they're not impeding anything. But you have to watch the ones like the negative Nancy's that are trying to come in and stifle what you're trying to do. You never want to keep people around that are trying to slow down your progression, because without you progressing and improving on your life, you will be stagnant. And that is one thing that you never want to be. If you ever look at stagnant water, if you ever look at something that's just not progressing, mold grows on it. It becomes toxic realistically when you look at it. Stagnant water, you can't drink it. You know what I'm saying? It's just so many things that if you look at just being standstill, the problems that come from it. So yeah, it's always important to progress. And this is what you want to start doing for yourself. You want to start practicing the PMP, progression and protection, because those two with each other working in tandem will be so beneficial to you, because without it, you're going to be stuck in a rut. And that is the last thing that any of us were designed to do. If you even look at how we're built to walk. We're built to move. The longer we sit still, the worse our bodies become, because we're not being active enough. So that applies not only to your physical, but that also applies to your mental, your emotions, things like that, and the progression of yourself and becoming better as a person over time. So let me know what y'all think down in the comments section, and be on the lookout for more videos. All right, everybody. Peace.